Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is our weekly GM recorded call on 9/14. So we wanted to talk about the Hurricane Harvey fundraiser. Looks like we're way ahead of our schedule, and most stores are doing an outstanding job. As of September 1st or 13th, I'm sorry, we're at $11,000, 676. September 9 GRI contest standings as of the 13th for individual stores. Team Wiley in where's Wiley located? Is that Kansas?
Dallas market.
Oh, that's Texas. I'm sorry.
DFW.
It's currently in first place. That's a shame. At $167, but congratulations to Wiley.
And a beat down, Brad. Is a little bit of jealousy I hear there.
Hey, great job, Wiley. You guys are doing awesome.
Real quick, just to take down Wiley, Joplin's at $770 from 9/1 to 9/13.
Woo! Good job.
Competitive juices are flowing.
Not everything's bigger in Texas, I guess. Bixby coming in a close second at $164. Good job, Bixby, Kansas. Or Tulsa. Review stand-up questions for period 10. So the general feedback from period 9 from Nathaniel was really good job by everybody. We have a few procedural things that we need to iron out, and we'll go over those here in a second. But the questions from for period 10 will be, let's see, if you were a manager, what is the first thing you would change? And you're going to get a lot of weird answers from this, and I guarantee you. But try to get them to get a more poignant answer towards, specifically towards the store, and not, well, I would make myself the GM or something along that line. So try to get an answer that's more related to the store when you're getting those answers from them. And then what part of your job could you use more help or coaching with? And this is a really good opportunity to, maybe what we had talked about earlier with the moms is to get, maybe that secondary question in there. If they say, I could use more help with training. Well, what part of your training do you need specifically help with? So that's a good one to kind of dig in a little bit more and get some better information, so we can help them out in the future and possibly make their jobs easier. So those are the two questions coming out for period 10.
And Brett, I just want to interject here. Melissa Underwood had a great comment earlier, and question, what if you have a team member that the manager wants to have a more in-depth conversation with? And the answer was basically, yeah, keep going. We're trying to keep these as short as possible in general as far as the required questions. But if you feel as a general manager that there's more to discuss with this team member and you have the time, by all means continue the discussion, or at the very least reschedule a follow-up discussion with them for the next day when you have maybe some more time and you could sit down with them. So we want to encourage you to use this as a dialogue with your team. That's the purpose behind this. So definitely do that.
Okay, yeah, good point. But anyway, from Nathaniel, a very good job. We've made some significant improvements in retention over the last period. And the message we want to send to everybody, really, you guys, is that we're listening to them. And I always remember what Jason said, because we missed a few comments, sending out comment cards in Georgia a couple of times, and he goes, Brad, he goes, I'd rather we just ignore them completely than promise them something and not deliver. So it kind of resonates to this too, where, if the employee is telling us something, or our team member is saying, okay, I'm having trouble with this, and we don't do anything about it, it's almost worse than, not even asking them the question in the first place. So we really need to pay attention to what they're doing. And I think the moms really need to kind of dive into those answers that we've gotten from period 9 and really look at those and help your GMs and your teams, help improve the stores and address those situations with those employees. And it's gonna go so much farther if we sit down with them and say, hey, you know, I noticed that you were having trouble with training. What specifically can we do for you? Or what can we do to help you, you know, make your job easier? You know, if not, they just may end up walking out and leaving us. So please make sure that we're following up on those. We do these for a reason, and it's not just to get a nice little pie chart. It's to really find out what our employees think and how we can help them stay and reduce that turnover. The biggest focus on that pie chart, and you guys probably saw it, was training. So, and again, that's a good opportunity to dig into your training at your individual stores and say, okay, you know, what part of training specifically are we having troubles with at this store? And, you know, obviously the employees, 51% said they feel uncomfortable with training, or they don't feel that they're good enough for that job after they get out of training, or, you know, they're not getting ongoing training, whatever it is. So, you know, make sure we're digging into that as much as possible. So any questions on that from anybody? Nope. Okay. Marketing, Miss Lisa. Oh, not Lisa. That's for Oren. Are you going to go over the Diane stuff? I don't have that pulled up.
Yeah, sure. No, we're not going to pull it up, but just a reminder that when you, at the store level, if you're going to propose a sponsorship or, you know, any sort of advertising that you want to do with a local school or whatever, to fill out the sponsorship questionnaire and before you submit it to marketing. The more you do up front, the quicker you'll get that request approved. So Diane Hune is actually replaced Julia, and she's handling those sponsorship questionnaires. So, you know, don't just forward something without the questionnaire for Diane to research. We want you to be able to talk to your multi-unit manager about this and make sure it's a good fit for your store. That's not our decision to make as a marketing team. That's your decision to make. All we want to do is see it laid out, and then that way we could support you in making it a great event or a great sponsorship. And then we can also help with facilitating payment on the back end, so you don't have to get caught up in those nuts and bolts issues. So really go through that questionnaire, think it through, review it with your mom, and then submit it to marketing. It is in UltiPro under the documents, under the marketing documents section for download if you're not familiar with it. For fundraisers, just make sure the tax exempt and fundraiser forms are filled out completely with the date and time of event and sent to marketing at least 1 week in advance. And the reason for that is, you know, when you schedule a fundraiser, we want to promote it ahead of time. We could get it up on Facebook. We can encourage the organization that you're doing the fundraiser for, whether it's a school or whatever, to put it up on their Facebook page, and we'll get them the image. But it takes a couple days for us to get all that going. So, you know, we have to get approval from Freddie's corporate, et cetera. So if you send that in a day before, we're really, in many cases, missing an opportunity to make it a much bigger fundraiser. So please submit that 1 week in advance so that it's not so much for approval as much as it is for making it the biggest and best fundraiser we can get, and you being able to present a nice big check to that group. So does anybody have any questions on the marketing process? No? Okay. Well, very good. We'll go ahead and conclude this call, but I'd like the mums to stay on for a minute.